Oh, hey, coming back from Cali. All right, I'm going to cut it off there. One, I don't want a copyright strike, but also I don't do it nearly as good as Biggie does. But I am back from California, so welcome to the Bitcoin Beat with Sean and Jeff. I'm your host, Sean, and my co-host, Jeff, I'm sorry to say, is no longer with us. But he'll be back next week. He's just not here today. So for this week, you got me. Congratulations. I am back from California. We mentioned at the end of our last show about some of the upcoming events that are going on around the country, all over the world, for celebrating the Bitcoin Pizza Day. So I want to share with you something that I experienced over the week. I spent about 4 or 5 days out in Santa Monica, LA, Bel-Air area. I think there'll be a little bit of value that you'll get from it, so I want to share that. And then some other recent things in news that is happening in and around Bitcoin. But first, I wanted to show you about the group. So I was heading out to this event that Anders was putting on. I had met Anders back in Vegas, Bitcoin 2026 conference. It was the last day, and the Vegas Bitcoiners had put this event on where people from all over the world came to hang out. There's like 50, 60 of us out there, and just really high quality people, talented people in Bitcoin, really honest and good people. And Anders was one of them that I was able to meet up there. And so he was hosting this pre-Bitcoin Pizza Day party in Bel-Air that I drove out to. And there was 21 of us here. And it was just a great time, just high quality people, very talented people. And I was happy to meet them all. So if you were out there, shout out to you guys. You made it great. It was at this like hole in the bar. And I don't know if you can call it that when it's out in the middle of like a really expensive area of LA, but it was a really unique place, which I'll mention in a minute. But this event was pretty epic. I'll tell you, what was interesting to me is when I was driving out there, traffic was awful. Everybody from LA knows that. I mean, you've seen pictures and it's just as bad as it looks. So I was prepared for it. I had plenty of time. But my Tesla had rerouted me to save about 20 minutes off the interstate to go through the neighborhood. And so there's a couple streets in Bel-Air that the car took me through. And it's amazing. It's like, the neighborhood there is unlike anything I've ever seen before. The homes are incredible, just immaculate. And I drove by this one specific house for sale. I don't know, you can really call it a house for sale, but it was $400 million. And it had like 39 bedrooms, 59 bathrooms, the usual basketball, tennis courts, pickleball courts, multiple swimming pools, both outdoor and indoor. And then had this like view from the backyard, this iconic sweeping view of Los Angeles. It just swept from the ocean all the way to the Eastern Hills. And you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. It's like every kind of scene you've seen in a Hollywood movie showing LA. It was that gorgeous, just unbelievable. Later, I found out that that property is actually the most expensive residential property for sale in the entire country. And here's kind of the crazy part I started thinking about when I was driving back home. So I was out there for Bitcoin Pizza Day, right? It's an annual event. We've talked about it before. It's the first ever known transaction for like a goods or service with Bitcoin, right? Laszlo had bought 2 large pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. So imagine this. If Laszlo had only bought 1 pizza instead of 2, back in 2010, that leftover 5,000 Bitcoin would be worth enough in devaluing dollar terms to buy that entire property today. The most expensive home in America right now is worth about 1 large pizza in Bitcoin terms. And you know what's incredible? That pizza didn't even have pineapple on it. It's just wild to think about the price appreciation. A lot of us are always focused on the number go up and how much it's valued in our own currency. And we hear stories about people valuing their lives and livelihood and their earnings, their time and energy going forward in their own currencies. That's devaluing even more than the dollar. But even compared to the dollar, some of these numbers are just incredible. Let me see if I can pull up the property here for you. Yeah, here we go. Should have had this ready here, but I'll show you. So yeah, $400 million. Yeah, 39 beds, 59 bathrooms. It's unbelievable how big that is. All right, let me get out of that here for just a second. Actually, I'll show you this here. Here's the view I was talking about. There we go. So this is the view from the backyard of that house. This is just one part of it. It goes, you can see all the way out to the ocean to the right, and it's just incredible. And here's the drive while I was going out there. So the map was just nothing but red, and it was red everywhere. So I was up here, and I think this is the Bel-Air, Beverly Hills area. We were going somewhere like right around here. So it routed me through some roads up in here to save a whole bunch of time. In fact, here's what the traffic looked like. So this was like nonstop. I think this was actually the exit I was taking because my car was rerouting right when I was taking this picture. I thought maybe I did something wrong with the full self-drive, but so it took me out here, but it was just bumper to bumper, and it was nuts. And then here's the bar, Umberto. It's interesting when I say hole in the wall. It's not easy to find this place. It's right next to a gas station, so I think most people would just drive right by it and not actually, notice that there's a restaurant and a bar back in there. But it was really cool. The staff was amazing. I can see why Anders loves that place. If you're in the area, I would definitely frequent that and check that out. So anyway, that was what I did when I went out there. Oh, just one more here, I forgot. Yeah, the entrance to the Bel-Air area. It's all this I guess they had a couple ways to get in this area, and it's just immaculate. The roads are so narrow. The trees and foliage are just right up against the street, and it didn't look like a lot of people lived back in there. At least there wasn't much traffic, and I was just cutting through it, and there was like zero traffic back there. But all in all, it was a pretty good trip. I enjoyed it immensely. I do want to kind of pivot to some other things that happened while I was gone here. And bear with me while I get that all ready here for you. There was X-Space that happened over the weekend that I think if you have some time, I would listen to it. It's interesting. Us Bitcoiners, we do try, a lot of us, to spend our Bitcoin. It's a little bit different than saying you're going to sell it, because you're basically just spending and replenishing whatever Bitcoin you have to help support people that take it, merchants, businesses, restaurants. And Chad, he goes by CHODL on X, had done a brief space, and I thought it was worthy enough to talk and mention about here. I enjoyed it. I jumped on it. It actually worked out timing. I was driving back home, and they had jumped on. And it's interesting because Chad was at a location that he had seen on a map when he drove by, and this is listed, I think, on Cash App's map of Bitcoin places that accept Bitcoin. And it was some kind of sub shop, and there's links in here too, and everything that you can dig into it and find some more stuff about that particular restaurant. But what I found interesting was it was horrible audio because you're doing it live. You're in the moment. You're there at a store where there's other customers coming and going. You run into some kind of issue with the wallet you wanted to use, so you try to use another one, but maybe the settings aren't exactly right. And it's what I think what we all experience. At least in my case, whenever I've tried to use Bitcoin, there's always been some kind of issue or a learning experience to go through. In fact, my first Bitcoin conference in 2023 in Miami, the vendors there, the food court, was taking Bitcoin. They were also upcharging for it, but I was going to use my Lightning wallet, and it did not work. I had to go back to using a credit card. In fact, they even left the surcharge for Bitcoin use on it. That's a Bitcoin magazine or Bitcoin conference thing. It's not a Bitcoin thing. But my point is, going through that and seeing it live brought back a lot of memories for when I was doing that for the first couple of times too. And there was a key point that I wanted to mention that you'll pick up if you don't have time to watch or time to listen to the X Space, is the gentleman there that orange pilled the business was talking about orange pilling these companies and businesses to accept Bitcoin. And I think, like a lot of people, you might fall in this camp like me, we know the values of taking in Bitcoin and using it as a medium of exchange and basically as a currency, not just the store value narrative, but when we try to orange pill people, we start with what drew us into Bitcoin, what was important about Bitcoin to us. Merchants, especially when you're there at the time that they're working and they're in the business, they're not there to really sit down and have a lengthy, at-depth conversation about the technical aspects of Bitcoin. So this gentleman, I think it was Jenks, he mentioned one of the best ways to orange pill merchants to not even mention Bitcoin. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Like, he starts explaining, he goes up to people and says, hey, have you heard of this new payment rail system? There's like 0 transaction fees. And right then and there, these business owners, these entrepreneurial type minded people hear, wait, I can accept money and not pay insane fees, 3.5%, 4%, depending on what kind of deal you get with the merchant services. And it's just every transaction eats away at their bottom line, and their margins are already thin to begin with. So when they hear I can take money and have no transaction fees, that is instantly a way to try to orange pill somebody without even talking about Bitcoin, the hash rate, the network adoption, the sovereignty of it, the permissionless nature of it, everything. And it's just going to where they're at and what actually helps them and gets their mind thinking will generally have these merchants asking more questions. And it's not even the type of thing you have to bring up every single day or even day one. If it's the place you frequent and you get to know them, that's the time to really bring it up. So if you have a few minutes, I would check that on out. It's something that's had my mind thinking a little bit that I think you guys would enjoy as well. One last topic here. The conference for Bitcoin Alpha is coming up in October in Santa Monica. One of the things I did when I went out there is I checked out the venue where this is at, and it's incredible, but it's in October. This will be coming right off the heels of the Midwest Bitcoin Summit. So that one's in September. So that one's in September, and then the Bitcoin Alpha one's going to be in mid-October on the 16th. So I would definitely keep that on your radar. It's a little pricey. It's a little different of a conference. It's not really a conference, but it has some value. This is, I think, some pictures from last year. Yeah, from the event where there's Puncher chatting. They got, I think that's Dark Side. And then there's the huge picture of the shark in the background. Slightly cut off there, but you can see that there. So I'm excited for that event. I hung out near there, checked it out. I actually did a tour of the place, and actually I have some photos. And I have this post here. So this is interesting. This is an extra room. So if you were there in the last year or two, I don't think this was open for the Bitcoin Alpha conference portion, but it's this kind of meeting room. There's like 2 rooms in one. There's a picture of me with Fred Krueger there sitting down. Neither of us were in that photo, in that position. Although if you look close enough, you can probably see AI did not remove me taking the photo while I was there. It's a really cool venue. Really, I mean, it's a 5-star hotel, if there is such a thing, on Santa Monica Beach. It's just amazing. Bring this over here for you guys to check out. So here's a picture of it from the outside. So right off the beach. In fact, I walked down to the beach to get another photo of it. There we go. So yeah, I mean, literally you walk right out of the conference area where we can eat lunch or breakfast, and there's the beach right there. And of course we had some kind of pelican that was chilling right there. That was pretty awesome. Not something Arizonans see all that often. But the inside too is just incredible. I mean, all over, it's just immaculate. It's just beautiful. Very, very bougie. So anyway, I got to check that out. That's at the Hotel Casa del Mar, which is, like I said, right, it's pretty close to the Santa Monica Pier. And although it's a 1-day conference, they'll have some things happening before and after. So it's kind of like a 3-day thing, but the conference itself is more of a 4 discussion rooms set up where there's a lot of discussion, different topics being chatted about. It's not necessarily a presentation style like you would see at the Bitcoin conference or some other conferences. So that's basically the summary of what I have for this week. When I was out in Santa Monica, I got to hit up a few other bucket list item things. I got to check out Gold's Gym. It's what the bodybuilders would say is the Gold's Gym or Mecca or whatever other names. It's where like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman, Michael Hearn train. I didn't see anybody famous when I was in there, but I got a good chest and shoulder workout while I was there. I got some photos, bought this shirt, obviously, so I'm wearing it today. Yeah, so that's what I got for you this week. Next week, Jeff will be returning, but we have a guest interview lined up for later this week, and I want you to watch for that. I think you guys will enjoy that. So it's going to be in reference to that Bitcoin conference that's happening in the Midwest, the Bitcoin Midwest Summit. And it's a new conference. It's one that kind of feels like it came up out of nowhere, but it's the first year they're doing it. And it's in an area that's never really had a major conference before. So I'm pretty excited. Some of the other things happening around the conference, on what the organizer's doing is going to be an interesting conversation. So check that out. We'll have that later this week. It'll probably be up Thursday or Friday. Might have to wait till the weekend, but it should be up before our next week's Bitcoin Beat episode. And then also do us a favor. We could use your help to follow us on our new X account right over there. So we set up a new X account where we're only going to put up information about our show, clips from interviews and things like that. So we're not going to spam you with all the normal Bitcoin stuff that you see from people. And actually, while you're at it, join our YouTube channel, because we also branded separately off of our personal page. And now it's on our main YouTube page. So it feels like we're starting over. Both those are free. Follow us on X and subscribe to us on YouTube. It does help us out. It's free. We have a couple other interviews in the works. But what I want to also mention is, for those of you that watch our show, the majority of you know us. There are quite a few of us, quite a few of you that do watch from different parts of the country, and a couple from outside the US. And with the ability to do this remote, I want to talk to you for a minute. We would like to interview anybody that's in Bitcoin. One thing I've noticed over the years, and this is something not just introspectively, but also when I meet other people, we usually don't think, and I'll speak for myself, we usually don't think our story is all that interesting. But when other people start digging into your story, it actually is pretty interesting. And I like to have those kind of discussions with real people that are in Bitcoin, how they got Bitcoin, what they do in Bitcoin, what they think about Bitcoin for the future, what it's done for them, what it's done for those that they love. So if you're interested, reach out to us. We have 5, but 4 kind of working on scheduling right now. So we got a couple lined up. I'm really getting excited about this. I know Jeff is as well. He'll be part of that interview coming up, but reach out to me. Just you can DM me on X. You can reach out to me on Telegram or wherever. Actually, I have contact information here where you can, if you go to .com, so that's DAHT.com, I have all my contact information links up there, so you can reach out to any of those and reference back the podcast. And if you want to chat with us, tell us what you want to chat about, and we'll talk about scheduling and how it works and get you on here. We definitely want to talk to other Bitcoiners in the space, whether we've met in person or not. And then on that page, you'll have the links to, you watch our YouTube channel, our X account on there. And then if you're in Tucson, all the different ways that you can see our schedule for our local Tucson Bitcoin meetup. We have a social coming up on Wednesday, and then another social on the first Tuesday of next month. So check that out. Do us a favor. It really does help us out. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, if you don't have any Bitcoin, get off of zero. But if you do have Bitcoin, keep stacking sats. We'll see you again next week when Jeff's here. Take care, everybody.